Hi, this is Dr. Grande. I hope you find this video useful. If that's the case, please like it and subscribe to my channel. And as always, thanks for watching. Hello Zoe, how you doing today?
I'm good, how are you?
I'm doing well, thanks for asking. I know that the last time we spoke, we talked about spending today's session working on units of distress, these different levels, these different exercises that cause increasingly more stress around the specific phobia you have. And I know you mentioned it related to a dog, but I didn't get a lot of information last time about how that kind of all formed, so I was hoping we could start there.
Okay.
With kind of what happened that made you afraid of this dog.
Sure.
Tell me about that.
Okay. So I've had an issue that started about when I was a little bit younger. When I was about 10 years old, I was really active. I was playing outside all the time, and my neighbors had large dogs that were always in their yard. They would always be outside running around, and we were separated by a fence. And if I was playing outside or like kicking a ball around or doing anything with a friend and I had to go after the ball, it would be near the fence, and especially if I wasn't looking, I would be leaning down to grab the ball or just have my back turned, and they would come up, they would be really excited, and they would jump on the fence, and I never would be expecting it, and they would always startle me, and I would always feel this sense of fear and uneasiness around them, and so I've kind of always been a little bit more uncomfortable around dogs since all of that happened.
And how old were you?
I was about 10.
About 10. Oh, you mentioned that.
Yeah,
okay.
yeah.
You're around 10.
Yeah.
And they would startle you. Would you like jump?
Yeah. It was like a whole body reaction, I guess, because I wouldn't ever be looking. I wouldn't know that they were coming, and then they would just be up against the fence, like barking and jumping, and I felt like they were gonna jump over and try to get me.
And since that time, you haven't been a big fan of dogs?
No, not really.
And for this exercise, specifically, there was one dog in particular that you wanted to kind of work through that fear?
Yeah, because there was an incident that happened more recently at my friend's house, and it was a really big problem. I was at a party last weekend, and they had a bunch of people outside. The dog was out loose, and it's there, and so it's never really a problem. It's always kind of around, doesn't really come near me. I can always just kind of keep my distance from it. But we were outside, and they were playing with it, and I wasn't really paying attention. And they were throwing the frisbee for the dog between each other, and the dog was facing me, and I turned around, and it was running towards me, and I didn't realize it, and I just saw him coming up at me, just kind of like how the dogs had when I was a kid, and it really was unexpected, and it startled me, and I kind of thought, like I did like when I was a kid, like they were gonna come get me, even though he didn't come near me, and it was a really big problem for me because I was all shaken up, and I tried to go inside and calm myself down, and I couldn't, and I had to leave. I had to leave the house, and I've been really uncomfortable ever since.
Yeah, so this was particularly stressful.
Yeah.
This particular dog. What kind of dog is it?
It was a full-grown German Shepherd. Yeah. His name is Thor.
His name is Thor?
Yeah.
And you want to be able to interact specifically with Thor. You want to be able to conquer that fear. Yeah,
because I've been really hesitant to go back over there because her family, it's my good friend, so her family's super nice, and they said, like, we'll lock the dog up, like, you can still come over, but I would just feel really guilty because it's their house, and I'm over there, well, I used to be over there all the time, and now if I go over there, that means that they have to keep the dog, like, away, or, not really where I can, like, be near it, because I'm going to have that fear.
All right, so it's important for you to get over the specific fear, and the owners of the dog you think will cooperate with the exercise that we have here.
Yeah, they're so nice. So definitely, if I said, like, can you help me with this, they would totally be involved with me.
All right. So you're okay getting started developing these units of distress?
Mm-hmm.
We'll work through these.
Yep.
I just want to establish the scale
Okay.
before we get started.
Okay.
1 through 10.
Okay.
1 is like really mild level
Okay.
of distress, and 10 is like when you're in person with that dog. Like
Okay.
he's just stand there with you.
Okay.
So 10 would be a lot of stress, the kind of anxiety and panic you described earlier.
Mm-hmm.
And 1 would be, it registers on the scale, but it's really minor.
Okay.
It doesn't bother you that much. So I'm going to list these different exposures, these different activities, and if you can, rate them from 1 to 10.
Okay. Okay,
Right?
I understand.
So, does that make sense?
Yeah.
So we're going to build like a hierarchy of these different levels of distress.
Okay.
Now, if there's any of these activities or exposures that you just don't want to have any part of, just say that. That's okay.
Okay.
All right. But if you think there's something that you could tolerate at some point, let's go ahead and put them on the scale. Rate them. We can always take them off later.
Okay.
If you think of any others, mention them and I can add them to this list.
Okay, perfect.
Right. So I'm going to start with what I believe is the lower levels of distress, like the activities that are associated with lower levels of distress for you and this dog, like for you in your reaction with this dog.
Mm-hmm.
But I may be out of order.
Okay.
All right, these are just really my educated guesses.
Okay.
So don't feel like you have to increment the scale for each one that I read.
Okay.
Okay, it doesn't have to be the first one's 1, the next one's 2.
Mm.
I might have some that go backwards or that don't register at all.
Okay.
All right.
Yep.
All right, so let's start with something I believe will be mild, which would be if I were to, like for example with this pen and this paper, draw a German Shepherd. So it would be a crude drawing.
Okay.
All right.
Yeah. That would probably be a 1.
A 1?
Yeah.
Okay.
That wouldn't be too much.
How about if I took a picture, like with a cell phone, of a German Shepherd, but it was out of focus, and I showed you that picture?
That would be probably a 3 or 4.
That would be a 3 or 4?
Yeah.
What if I took a picture that was of any German Shepherd that was clear?
That would probably be a 5. Yeah, if I could see it, that would be a 5.
So any German Shepherd, clear picture,
Yeah.
would be a 5. How about if I took a clear picture of Thor?
That would be a 6.
That would be a 6?
Yeah.
What if I took now I'm going out of order here a little bit. What if I took a picture of Thor, but he was really small, like way in the distance in that picture?
So he would be far away.
He'd be far away in the picture. Like, so he's, like, I picture like a big yard you're describing.
Yeah.
And say I'm way back.
Okay. Okay.
It'd be 6 if he was, like, right in the, like, close up.
Yeah, I would say that's probably a 4, 3 or 4. Yeah, it would, because he'd be far away from me.
Okay. How about if I ask you to think about a German Shepherd in general, just bringing up a mental image?
Just thinking about him, probably just a 2.
Just a 2?
Yeah.
And thinking about Thor specifically?
Maybe a 3. But
Maybe a
still,
3.
But still around the same. Not too much.
Not very stressful.
No.
All right. This one might sound a little slightly unusual, but how about if I had a small stuffed animal that was like a German Shepherd?
Yeah, probably only like a 2.
A 2?
Yeah, it wouldn't,
Right.
it wouldn't be
That's
afraid
not too
of it.
scary?
No, I don't think
Right.
it would be.
How about if I had a larger German Shepherd stuffed, like one that was maybe approximated the
Near
actual...
me?
Yeah, like in the, like here.
Maybe a little bit more nervous, like a 3, but still, yeah.
You kind of know it's a stuffed animal.
Yeah. Not too scary.
It's not really triggering anything.
Yeah.
All right. How about if I was able to obtain a cell phone video of Thor, but I only played the sound for you, like him barking?
Probably like a 4 or 5.
A 4 or 5?
Yeah, with the sound or no sound?
With just the sound. Yeah. So
Yeah,
I would
okay,
take a video,
okay.
but I wouldn't show you.
Okay, yeah, just a 4 or 5, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So picture that same, like I'm holding a cell phone.
Mm-hmm.
I've played a video of Thor running and barking.
Okay.
Right, but you've only heard the sound because
Okay.
the screen's facing me. That same scenario, except I show you the video.
That'd probably be a 6.
That'd be a 6.
Yeah, to see him and to hear him at the same time. Yeah, that'd make me a little bit more nervous.
What if I showed you the video, but I kept the sound off?
Probably a 5. A 5.
5.
Yeah.
All right, so that'd be a little less stressful.
Yeah.
Without the sound.
Yeah.
Okay. So now I'm going to move to units of distress that I think are going to be a little higher.
Okay.
All right. So again, if you want any of these excluded, just say that. If you want me to stop because it's getting, you're becoming fearful, that's okay too.
Okay.
So let's now kind of picture activities that are in the same house as Thor.
Okay.
And in the yard. Okay.
Okay.
So say you're there at the house, and he's there, but he's in a bedroom and the door's closed, and you know that door will remain closed.
Okay. So I know he's there, but he's behind the door.
Yeah, and I imagine he'd be barking.
Okay.
Yeah.
That'd probably be about 7.
7.
Yeah.
Same scenario, except you're in the house, and he's in the backyard, but he's on a chain.
Okay.
So I kind of picture this house like a sliding glass window that goes to the backyard. So you're behind that window.
Okay.
And there's a post or a tree in the back, and he's chained. So you can see him, you can hear him.
Okay.
He's chained up, and there's a window separating him.
Okay. Now that I can see him, it would probably be about 8.
8.
Yeah.
How about that same situation I just described, except he's running loose in the backyard, so he could be right up to the window, but he can't get to you.
Yeah, that would be a little bit more intense, so probably about a 9. Yeah, 9.
And what if you were in the backyard with him? I know that's a 10 if he's just there in the backyard, but you're in the backyard, and let's say he's chained and he clearly can't reach you, but there's no window between you.
Yeah, that would probably be the same. That would probably be a 9 too.
9.
Yeah.
How about that same situation in the backyard with him, except instead of chained, the owner's like holding him maybe like by the collar or something, like keeping him from running.
And I know
towards
that she's not gonna let go of him.
you. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, it'd be a little less worse. So probably about a 7 or an 8, I would think.
Okay, so you have more confidence with the owner holding the dog than like with the chain.
Yeah, definitely.
Okay.
The chain could break or something like that.
All right.
Yeah.
Are there any other levels kind of moving toward this fear that you can think of you want me to add?
No, I think those kind of cover everything that would make me nervous in the situation that I was in.
All right. If there are additional levels that you think of, like after this session, for example, feel free to bring those in next time and I can add them.
Okay.
Otherwise, we can use these.
Okay.
So let me explain kind of how this part of the therapy works. We have these units of distress now that you've mapped out. I appreciate you taking the time and scaling all these different levels. And I'm going to introduce the lower levels first, right? Pictures, thinking about the dog, the clear picture of another dog and the same dog, elements like that.
Okay.
And we're going to wait, like you'll be exposed to that, and we're going to wait until you become comfortable at that level before we move to the next level.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, that makes sense.
And some of these I'll give to you as homework. So you can, like for example, the pictures.
Okay.
You can take and you can look at the picture. It'll cause some distress, we know, right? Because you scaled it. But eventually, you'll become accustomed to that, and we'll be able to move to the next level.
Oh, okay, that makes sense.
Right? It might take some time, and there might be some levels where it's harder to jump to the next one, even though we try to evenly space them out. For example, anything that involves going to the actual house, right?
Yeah.
That's going to be a bit of a wider gap between the levels than I would like, but there's only so much we can do in terms of spacing out evenly.
Yeah, I understand.
And we may think of other steps I can put in there, like driving up to the house but not going in.
Okay.
So we'll try to, if it's too much of a jump, we'll try to minimize that.
Okay, great.
All right. Does that sound like a good plan?
Yeah, I think that's great. I think that will definitely help.
Okay. Well, Zoe, I will get this ready so that next time we can start.
Okay.
And we'll go from there, starting with the lower levels, and we'll see how it goes.
Okay, great. Thank you.
All right. Thanks.